Next on ABC. Viewer discretion is 7 Action News at 10 is minutes away over on TV 20 Detroit.
The authority, you work together?
I wouldn't exactly call it together.
How you doing, Junkie Nation? This is Kenshiro coming to you live from Junkie Nation. Um, we're just coming off of the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A lot of us are very happy about it. We're glad it's back, especially since the Flash is on break, and so is Arrow. So we have at least something superhero related to kind of talk about and get back into. But anyway, we got a really great topic for you guys today. We're glad that you can join us. When you do join the chat, make sure you say hello. I'll make sure to say hello to you. Zach Games for Real, welcome to the chat. So real quick, like we always do, let me introduce the panel today. It's going to be a big one. So first off, we got the great Datakuji right there. Say hello, D.
What it is, everybody? How you guys doing?
We got the great GQ checking in.
Hey everybody, I found yet another Dragon Ball today, so that brings the total up to 3. Once I get all 7, you better kiss your asses goodbye because the next gonna end.
Oh, great. We got the Big Kahuna checking in.
That's me. That's me.
That is you. Happy that your darling Ming Na Wen is back.
Man, didn't get enough. She only had like 2 talking scenes.
It's good enough,
But
isn't it?
I'm glad to see her on there.
Yeah. I am too. And now we are going to move to some of the ladies that haven't joined us before, but they've been in the chat. New Culture Junkies. We got Autumn checking in from the Dirty South. Come on, Autumn. Don't miss your chance to say hello. Oh, she's having mic trouble. We'll come back to her. And all the way from Sunny.
My mic is working.
There she is. She's
There
finally
you go.
checking in.
Hey, you guys. How y'all out there? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. And checking in from Phoenix, we got Lena. What's going on, Lena?
Hey, what's going on, Junkie Nation? How are you?
Oh, we're good. We're gonna have a great show. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Not much news really hit today, but there is one big thing that we kind of got today, and that was Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones trailer dropped today, and I couldn't be more happy that the season's going to be coming back. The way it ended with the apparent death of Jon Snow, with Cersei's shame walk, which still resonates with me months later. The escape of Sansa from Ramsay Bolton. I mean, I could go on and on. What do you ladies think about Game of Thrones coming back?
I'm stoked. I totally loved it. I loved the ending. I did cry when Jon Snow was killed. I cried several tears. Me and my mother. Very ready for the new season. I'm for revenge because I know she's going to take out everyone, and I'm just ready for that. That everything else can go away, but I'm ready to see her have her revenge.
Yeah, Cersei's gonna come back with a vengeance. That's for sure. I can't wait for it to come back. Lena, are you a fan of Game of Thrones? And what do you think of the trailer?
I love Game of Thrones. The trailer just got me up right back into it, right back there. And Cersei, she's gonna be Cersei. She's gonna bring the fire. I'm actually wondering what the the Mother of Dragons is gonna do this season because from the trailer it looks like she's having a hard time.
Yeah, our Khaleesi seems to be in a bit of a pinch there.
Yeah.
Dido and GQ, I know you guys don't really watch Game of Thrones, so I can kind of pitch in some of the stuff.
I do watch it.
You
and
do watch it?
Spoilers.
Yeah, see that's the
I'm
thing.
just a season behind everybody just because
hey.
I felt like it.
I'm sorry, man. If you're a season behind, that's on you. We gotta keep up with the times. But
I'm not like those sensitive people out there. Oh my God, they got spoiled. No, I watch it when I get to.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're a binge watcher. There's nothing wrong with that. It seems to be the way of the future. However,
I don't watch it because it's European swords and not Asian swords, so not really interested.
there's some of that stuff we're going to be talking about a little bit later. In any case, you guys out there in Junkie Nation really enjoy Game of Thrones, kind of let us know in the chat. We're going to move right along to the show that came back after a Agent Carter fill-in hiatus. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has returned. We see that S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of getting a public, kind of somewhat coming out of the shadows, but not really coming out of the shadows. So what did you guys think of today's episode, Kuna? I know you're a super fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so let's start with you. What did you think of the show this week?
I thought it was a good show. We got introduced to a couple new people and some new powers, which I liked. You know, we got introduced to Yo-Yo.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of like the Flash, but she actually snaps back to where she started off from. But still pretty cool. And then we got that the La Policia guy who has pretty much the powers of like Medusa. So it was pretty good. You know, I was glad to see Agent May back. She didn't have really that many scenes in this episode, but still good to see her back again.
Oh, it's always good to see Ming-Na win. GQ, what did you think of the show this week?
I enjoyed it. Definitely glad to see that S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming into its own as far as essentially being an Avengers light, which I have no problem with. It is a TV show. Very cool to see Chloe Bennett coming into her own as a leader of her own team of people. So that's pretty awesome in and of itself. And I just hope that they get a little bit more bloody pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how far they'll be able to push that bloody part. Let's go to one of the new ladies. Autumn, what did you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week? Did you get a chance to catch it? She's shaking her head no.
I do not watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, no.
I've been told by several people that I need to watch the show, but I have not watched it. I'm going to have to do some binge watching pretty soon.
Yeah. You're gonna have to. You're definitely gonna have to watch it. So, Lena, you're on the West Coast. You probably didn't get a chance to catch it yet. So we'll kind of save
Not
you
yet.
from it. But give us your thoughts of the show in general, and let us know what you think.
I like how it, like was said, that it's Avengers Light, and usually I also like that they're starting it back up now, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna kind of lead it right on to the Civil War. So I'm interested to see how that works out. But I mean, I still have some catching up on the show to do myself. I've seen a couple episodes, but I'm kind of excited that it's coming out right before another Avengers movie comes out.
Right. Well, Dido, would you chime in? What'd you think of the episode this week?
It was a pretty decent episode. I thought it was a little bit slow, but I guess that's how they're supposed to be because they're setting up another story. Personally, I kind of feel that they had an opportunity a little bit wasted, that they could tie it into Civil War, kind of like how they did Winter Soldier, just because, from my understanding, and granted, again, I don't read the comics as much as you do, but the whole Civil War thing had something to do with mutants. And being the fact there's no mutants in this universe, but they have Inhumans, they could have tied all that stuff in there. And I think that it was a big opportunity wasted. But just about the episode, I liked the episode. I like seeing the Inhumans with the new powers. Kind of sucks that Yo-Yo won't be. Oh, never mind. I guess I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, don't spoil anything. But I'll throw this caveat out there. There's not. I mean, the season is still young. I mean, it's not really young, but there's still a lot of time before Civil War comes out, so we don't actually really know what the end game is going to be. There could be a tie-in. They said there might be a tie-in. So, and besides, like you said, with Civil War, the comic being, kind of centered around a mutant-led catastrophe, and the fallout from that, with the Inhumans kind of becoming a little more prevalent in the public eye. I would have to say that there's a chance that something could happen in regards to the Inhumans that could kind of would spur on some of the other stuff.
You guys must have missed the last 2 minutes of the episode then, because the last little conversation between Coulson and the president, and even the teaser for next week's episode, really is dipping into and hinting at the whole Sokovia Accords.
I agree.
So there's your tie-in right there.
Well, maybe I did because I was trying to make sure I can get down for the show. I don't have a TV. I don't have a TV.
But didn't last, what was it, season 2? Wasn't that when wasn't the tie-in after Winter Soldier? Like when it came back from Winter Soldier, that's when they were like actually talking about what happened in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, what they did is they tied into Winter Soldier, and then the very last episode leads right into Coulson calling in the Avengers, which of course leads right into what happened in Age of Ultron. So
that was their best. That was their best tie-in, in my opinion. That was the best one that they did.
I'm sure the tie-in's going to be even better. I mean, we have till what, April to
we do.
We
have till May.
Yeah, so we got time for any kind of tie-in.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I just love the way they did season 2. That whole big reveal about that Coulson was hiding the helicarrier for all this time, like unbeknownst to anybody. I thought that was a pretty big Easter egg for the movie. And just having Maria Hill on there the way she was on there was actually pretty cool too.
Plus, I also like the fact that when they did the Winter Soldier tie-in, that they just basically showed you a little clip from the movie, and that's something that had never been done on TV ever.
Never.
A little clip from an actual motion picture as part of the TV show's plot. So I mean, that was slick how they did that.
Yeah, it was slick, and I think the chances are good that they actually could end up doing that again. As the show.
I don't want to see anything from Civil War until I see Civil War.
Okay.
I feel the same way. That's why I've been trying not to watch the trailers.
Well, see, here's what I think. No, I guess maybe I can't say it because that might end up spoiling a little bit too much. But needless to say, as we saw from kind of the commercial of the show, that Coulson met with the president, the same president that's been in the the MCU all along, and that kind of touched on, SHIELD kind of still being operational, even though publicly it's kind of not supposed to be operational. And they kind of address that and kind of like really neatly tie some stuff together to kind of bring SHIELD back into some sort of relevance to the U.S. government. And in a way, I think that that makes perfect sense for the way SHIELD is kind of supposed to be, like a real secret, spy type operation, and I think I like the way they handled that. And moving forward, I think it's going to be something even better. What did you guys think of of the way Daisy's kind of handling, kind of growing. I mean, I know GQ kind of talked about it a little bit about her growing into her own. Autumn, you and Lena, you too. Talk a little bit about. Well, I guess Autumn can't since she hasn't really watched it, so I'll leave Autumn out of this. But Lena, you tell me how you feel about seeing Daisy kind of grow into her role and kind of transforming into a leader. I mean, she's come a long way from season one, when she was just a hacker in a van to being like an inhuman, badass trained by the cavalry, leading her own team. So what do you think about that?
I like to see the character progression. I'm still kind of like, but I mean, I like to see that she's just not like a novice character anymore. So I mean, I don't really have too much of an opinion on her other than that until she actually wows me, but she hasn't. Yeah, I'm just still waiting for her to do something that wows me.
Okay. So you haven't really. I mean, what exactly are you looking for? I guess.
That's the thing. I really don't know, but like when you have a character that just breaks out and does something, she's not one of the people I focus on. So it's just kind of like I don't have an opinion on it. Sorry.
Oh no, that's quite all right. I mean, because I know the show gets a lot of flack, honestly, and a lot of it is really undeserved. And some of the hate that it gets, I think, is tied into the subject of what we're going to discuss on in our game segment a little bit later on in the show. So we'll definitely address that aspect of it. But I always thought that Agents of Shield has always kind of hit its notes. It's always done what we kind of expected it to do. I know a lot of people are always talking about, oh, I want to see Avengers on the show. I want to see all that. I want to see more superheroes, and I want to see Daredevil. I want to see this. I want to see that. Yeah, that stuff will be cool, but in a way, I think that would kind of really detract from the show if it keeps constantly happening. That was something I think I was saying to Simon Says last week when he was kind of talking about the show as well. I just think Shield needs to stand on its own and develop its own characters and develop its own narrative instead of always borrowing from the Big Brother on the silver screen. And I think it does a really good job of that. So we're gonna kick it back to movies. That was kind of our recap of.
Got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Regarding what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an Agents of Shield comic book?
There is, and it's loosely based on the show. Like all of the characters, it's set in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel comic universe, and Coulson's like leading the team. Agent May is there. Fitz and Simmons are there. But as far as like anybody else, like there's no Ward. There's never been a Ward. There's no Mac. There's no Trip. It's kind of like those characters that I mentioned are the only ones that kind of crossed over from the TV show. Even Quake isn't on the show, or even on the team, at least not as a regular. So.
Okay, so even in the comic book, is it just those main characters, or do you see the Avengers or any other superhero at any time?
Not superheroes, not necessarily superheroes all the time. They do have in each show they seem to bring in a guest, like Howard the Duck was in one episode or in one issue. They've had Mockingbird, who's not really a part of the team. She's like she's more on Spider-Man's book now. She's like a liaison with Shield for a liaison from Shield to Spider-Man. So she's kind of working with him. So I mean, but they do have a rotating guest list. Like Doctor Strange has been on there. I think I'm not sure Daredevil's been on there, either. But it works a little bit better in comic book form than it would on a TV show. You know what I mean?
I disagree, but whatever. We'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah, sure. We'll table that for another discussion. But let's bring up something that is a little controversial, but it's related to our interests. Who remembers? I mean, nobody can forget the Matrix trilogy and kind of what it meant to pop culture back in the late '90s when the first movie came out. Thank you, Old Head Tech. We think you rock. Welcome to the show, by the way. Tell all your friends about us. but getting back to the topic, Daitakuji sent me something, and I kind of briefly saw it on Facebook. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Wachowskis. One of the Wachowski brothers became a sister, and now the other Wachowski brother has come out and become a sister. Both of them are now transgender. This we don't have to dwell on it too long. I'm just kind of like really trying to kill a little bit of time before we hit the mark and get to our main topic of the day. But how do you guys? I mean, how do you feel? How do you guys feel about them in their filmmaking duties? I mean, I know there was that thing with the Matrix not too long ago about it being old. Yeah, yes, old head tech. I am serious. That did actually come out. So look it up on Facebook. But seriously, their films outside of the Matrix, I haven't really been a big fan of their films. GQ, you're a big movie connoisseur, so I mean, let's leave the other stuff aside, the transgender stuff aside. But how do you feel about the Wachowskis as filmmakers, and do you feel like their work has really not been up to par? You know, as a kind of like a career.
And no shit,
Oh, you're breaking up really bad there. I can't really see you.
After what was it, Jupiter ascending or whatever, it pretty much showed that it was like, okay, either you guys really, really, really got lucky with the Matrix, or just you guys really weren't that good, because Jupiter Ascending was trash, complete and utter. It was like hot garbage on the side of the street in the middle of like the desert. That's how horrible that movie was. And it's just like, for them to do this, I think it's a publicity stunt. I mean, whatever. I don't want to touch on it. I don't want to dwell on it too long. But I mean, after you had Bruce Jenner switch over to Kate Jenner, I mean, it's like it's just starting to become the thing to do. So that's all I got to say about that.
Daitakuji, what do you think about it? I mean, you kind of brought it up to me, so how do you feel about the Wachowskis as a filmmaking duo?
Well, I mean, The Matrix, like GQ said, I think was probably their best work. I did not see Jupiter Ascending or Descending or whatever the hell it was called, because it just didn't seem like a really good movie. Maybe if it comes out on Netflix and I'm caught up on stuff that I like to watch, then I'll watch it. But Assassins, I thought they just kind of like produced it or something like that. I don't think they really had too much influence on it. So I don't know if that can be considered something that they technically did. But I enjoyed The Matrix. And maybe they'll strike gold again. But as I think Megashawn said, that The Matrix wasn't their idea anyway because it was stolen. So
right, it wasn't. It actually belonged to an African American lady, and she kind of, I think, finally got her due eventually. Let's see. Autumn had to drop out. Her connection wasn't. She kind of, I think, finally got her due eventually. She didn't. Autumn's connection was kind of bad, so she had to drop out. Selena, you're the last lady standing. Give us your feeling on the Wachowskis and the Matrix and kind of their film work. So give me a quick take on what you think about the news and them.
Well, the transgender thing, that is kind of interesting. But as far as their work goes, I actually like their movie because they did the screenplay for V for Vendetta, and while a lot of people didn't like the movie Cloud Atlas, I liked that movie, and because it was kind of all over the place. It was kind of futuristic, and it wasn't. So I enjoyed those two movies. Other than The Matrix. Assassins, it was okay. It wasn't like, I didn't get a lot of excitement from that one, but definitely V for Vendetta. That is one of my favorite movies that they did. So I think they have some hit and misses, and I think that when they team up with other writers instead of just pairing off as themselves trying to attack movies and make movies, then they do a little better. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Real quick, here's what it was. Daitakuji is partially right. It was directed by Richard Donner, but the Wachowskis did the screenplay and they wrote the story. So that's it's essentially their movie, but Dick Donner directed it.
Okay. And Donner, you
Oh,
know,
I'm
as we
sorry. I
know,
was thinking of Ninja Assassin. Sorry.
oh yeah, Ninja Assassins, yeah, yeah. I don't think they would have had anything to do with that anyway. But you know, so would we? How would we classify the? How would we classify the Wachowskis? Are we? You know, we just categorize them as hacks that that are kind of you know I don't want to. I never want to trivialize anybody's trials or things that they're going through. But it seems like a lot of times, it seems like, and this is just me. And I'm not trying to be controversial. I mean no offense to anybody, but the whole transgender thing might be an attention grab, in my opinion. Because honestly, you know, every movie that they've had is kind of really flopped. Um, Outside of the Matrix, outside of the first Matrix movie, and maybe even the second, to some degree, every other movie that they've had has kind of been, kind of crap. Um, so I mean, how do we classify them? I mean, are they really washed up already? Would do you have little faith in them any longer? Is it over for them?
They're not as bad as M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. They're not as bad as Uwe Boll either. So let's get
yeah,
that
well,
straight.
Uwe Boll is in another category. That guy has never done anything good
Yeah.
or even worth talking about
Yeah.
at
He
all.
didn't even have the decency to rip off somebody like the Wachowskis did and turn out a pretty good movie. He just turned out crap all
Yeah.
the way. So GQ, what do you think about the Wachowskis as a are they just washed up already or what?
I mean, like I said, I mean they did they were involved in two movies that I really liked. Technically, I guess you can call the Matrix a trilogy, so four movies that I liked. But I mean, a lot of their stuff is just either outside of the box and weird, or just stupid. And Jupiter Ascending pretty much proved that. It was just like this movie is dumb on so many different levels that it's just like, come on, I thought you guys were better than this. They shouldn't have even tried to put, you know how like when they want to hype a movie up, they're like from the producers of the Matrix and blah 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 blah. It's like that don't even have street cred anymore. Like you guys just can't do it. And it was after that I was just like, oh my goodness. It's like, yeah, these guys are pretty much done. You
Yeah.
forgot all about the division.
I certainly did, but the guy that we kind of wanted to talk about it didn't join us today. So real quick, let's talk about that. Obviously, the division dropped as well. The division dropped yesterday, so I kind of already had some server issues launched, but that seems to be the norm nowadays. It's like any big release that starts to come out, even though it's had kind of like a massive beta ahead of time, when they finally launch it, it never launches smoothly. And the division is just kind of the latest example of that. Now Simon Says was on Twitch earlier. He was playing some of the division. I wish he was here to kind of give us his feelings of the actual game, not as launched and not in beta. But do you guys think this is just something we're gonna have to get used to as far as like big name releases? They're always gonna be crap as far as like online play out of the gate. Because even Battlefield
Yeah.
4 had that same problem.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100% yes. I really don't think that these companies, all of them, have their shit together when it comes to coming out with a game. They come out with a release date, and whoever's backing it, like Activision in this case, probably says you need to be out by this date. And of course, the game might be done by that date, but everything that entails is not. I was told that the server was not up today to play multiplayer, and I'm just going, what? How do you release a game that supposedly focuses on multiplayer and you don't have a server to play multiplayer? That's kind of ridiculous, and I think that's gonna. I don't want to call it a trend because I don't know what the word is when trends become habit or become norm. I think it's going to be the norm completely. The norm. That's just dumb. That's what a trend is when it becomes normal. It's a norm. It's going to be the norm if it isn't already.
Right.
Well,
GQ comment.
Far be it for me to kick somebody when they're down, but Dude, all of these freaking games are starting to become ridiculous, and it's because they want to be so tied to online play. Go back to the days of when you had a solid single player and multiplayer was an afterthought. Because a lot of these games nowadays, if the server goes down, or if Broken Lizard or whoever it is wants to like DDoS attack their servers, then you're going to have millions of people that bought these games and can't do a damn thing with them. So go back to the old school days of building a solid single player. Multiplayer is always going to be the same thing. It's always going to be a group of people getting together, talking on headsets, trying to kill another squad of people. There's only so many different variations of that you can do. So let's stop worrying about all this major multiplayer garbage and all these betas and all this other crap, because it really doesn't mean anything in the end. Because as you've seen, they've got other problems. You got people blocking doors. You can't walk past people in the doors in safe houses. I'm like, oh, okay, guess what? If you're blocking my path, I'm going to shoot you in the head and drag your body out of the way and walk right on through the door.
Right.
But apparently, you can't do that. And then you got the other potential problem where I guess you have to queue up because you can't pass through people. You have to queue up to talk to the guy at McDonald's or whatever in the game. So, I mean, it's like, give me a freaking break. Stop trying to be super complex with these multiplayer things, and let's just get some regular games going, some single player. Grand Theft Auto is still 100,000 times better than any of those because you can just get in there and have fun on your own.
Yeah, you are absolutely well. I won't totally agree with you. I think in a way I mean, it's kind of a pipe dream to think that they'll go back to that single player experience. That I mean, the multiplayer is kind of that's where the money's at now, and it is what it is. Nice Kylo Ren mug, by the way. But well, I mean, there's really nothing more to be said about that. We'll just have. I mean, it is a growing pain, and it's something that Sev has been bemoaning about. Online gaming and Ubisoft in general. He kind of been talking about it at length last week. So if he was here, he'd say, "I told you so. I told you so." Anyway,
I mean, right is right, and he's
right.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Ubisoft needs to go back to the drawing board on some of their stuff. And Tom Clancy has been dead for how many years?
It's been a few years.
Let's stop putting his name on stuff and let's make some new things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, but you know how franchises work.
I don't care. There's plenty of space for new IPs. That's the problem with Hollywood and a lot of these game developers now. No innovation, no new. Come out with some new. And yes, I understand new can possibly fail, but come out with some new anyway. Because you failed back in the day, and look where you are now. Started from the bottom, now you're way up there.
Okay, let's not get into the obvious Drake reset. We're gonna move on. It's 10:30. It's time for us to hit our main topic of the day. However, I will address something in the chat. Hand of Omega, aka Dex. I miss your obvious troll job with having the whole Pokken tournament thing. But I will announce something that I didn't bring to the Junkie Nation before yet. Something that we kind of talked about doing on Friday, and it's going to definitely be official. This weekend we are doing what I am calling Fight Night at Dido's. We're all going to get together and we're going to have like a fun little fight night at Dadakuji's house. He's got a nice gaming setup down there. Every single system you can possibly want to game on, he's got it. So we're gonna have a good time. So look out for updates on that as the week progresses.
Doesn't have that Wonder Swan.
Yeah, I don't have Wonder Swan.
Yeah, he does have the Wonder Swan.
Don't have a Wonder Swan.
Well, he doesn't have Neo Geo, but we got the emulator, so there's that.
Well,
he does.
The games, I got a Neo Geo X, whatever, which is kind of like garbage, but whatever. It plays the games; they are okay. But all the important games that I need, they put on PlayStation 2, and I got them. So I don't need a Neo Geo system because I'm not paying cartridge money, $500. And yeah, some of those games are still $500 friggin' dollars
because they're rare.
Yeah, they can keep it.
Yeah, they should be able to keep that. You're right. So real quick, we're gonna jump to our main topic. And our main topic that hopefully brought all of you in today is we're going to be talking about elitism and casualness. And in regards, actually, it's something that kind of crosses different fandoms. Whether you're a fan of games, of anime, of comic books, of movies, it it touches everything. I mean, everybody everybody's a different level of has a different level or a different yeah, a different level of fandom, I guess you could say. And we've always got those. There's always that one or that group that always wants to say if you're late to the party, then somehow they're better than you. GQ can relate. He's like that on general principle. And it is who he is. I mean, I've gotten used to it after knowing him for many years. We all have gotten used to it over many years. It's who he is. But there's ones that just really kind of take it a little bit too far. So first off, I want to address. I want to ask the panel here, and we're going to ask the new girl, Lena, to kind of start it off, and she will be the one to kind of describe what goes into making a fan, and kind of like what separates a casual from someone that's elite. So Lena, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. You got the floor. Make it count.
All right. Well, I would say first, I would define a fan as someone who has a little extra vested interest in, be it a game, a movie, comic book, anime, anything. They don't just see it and look at it. I'm entertained and go into the next thing. They're actually, it takes a part of them to follow it. So, like with me, and I'll say with video games, and one video game in particular, Mass Effect for me. I'm all over it. I'm like probably a little more invested in it than most people are. I know the game inside and out, played it, will play it forever. And when somebody like tries to debate with me about it, or they have an opinion, I don't usually trash them for it, but I'm just like, okay, you don't know as much as I do about it. I try not to get into that realm of belittling somebody or saying, hey, you're an idiot because you don't know as much as I do. Mm-hmm. I kind of just I just take it as, all right, that's cute, you know some stuff. But
I mean, that in itself just sounds so condescending and elitist.
It does, and that is with that thing. Now, if you go to something else, another game, like if you like Final Fantasy or something, I am a fan of it because I'll follow it and I'll definitely watch other people play it and stuff like that. I like the characters, but I'm not extra like how I am with Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. Even if you want to go over to movies, like even our topic just now, I was just like, oh well, I can see other things with the I won't say their name again, but those guys or those individuals.
Those individuals. Okay. Hey, you can name names around here. Ain't no thing.
I don't know the full story, so I don't want to just start. Anyway, with the creators of The Matrix, I know other movies that I like of theirs, but you guys don't find them particularly interesting or well done or whatever. But I'm not gonna say, man, you guys are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. No, because that's just I'm a fan and I like it. And so I think when it comes to the elitists, they just kind of sometimes people just take it too far, and maybe they don't have enough going on in their life that they can just be like, well, this is this thing, and I'm going to go over here and do something else. So that's my take on it so far.
That's cool. Not bad. Not a bad start. Way to kind of break yourself in. So we're gonna go to Big Kahuna. We haven't heard from him in a little while. What in your certain types of fandom, what's been your experience with casuals and elites? And I'll branch off on this topic a little bit later with kind of the second stage of the discussion. So real quick, Kahuna, why don't you tell me what you think? Alvin Wallace, welcome to the chat, sir. Obviously, this might be a new viewer to the show, we are glad to have you. Glad that you join us. Make sure that you give us lots of responses in the chat. Let us know that you know how much you're liking the show, and give us some honest feedback. So Kahuna, go ahead. You got the floor. 3 minutes.
Um, well, as far as the elitists go, I find them funny. Um, I consider myself a casual,
Mm-hmm.
where I get into certain things. I have what I call kicks. So I get on a collector kick sometimes, and then it dies out. Comes to comics, like I get into comics real hard, and then it kind of fades out. So I'm not. I don't consider myself one of those hardcore guys, and you get offended. Certain things like if we have a conversation about Star Wars versus Star Trek, I
Mm-hmm.
might get a little emotional on that one. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so but not to the extent that they call the elitists,
Mm-hmm.
where they get really emotional, and they they really take it to heart.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I think it's kind of funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you bring up some pretty good points, because to them it's like a way of life. It's a
Yeah,
it means so much to them. And would you say it's all about emotion, or would it be more about their knowledge? I guess kind of
I
like
think a lot of
bragging
it
about it.
is knowledge. They want to be they like to be the one that, oh, I know everything. My kung fu stronger than yours.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I think a lot of it is it's like bragging rights, because I know so much about it, and you little peons, you know nothing.
Right. Get your hands off of me, you damn casual. I mean, those types. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
we've
yeah.
seen the
You
memes everywhere. We've seen the memes everywhere about it. And so what is? I mean, you say you consider yourself casual, but only when it doesn't concern Star Wars. And you say you kind of turn elitist. When would you say you turn elitist? Would you say it gets to be subjective? It depends on what the subject matter is that can flip you from being a casual to being an elitist. Would you say that? 50 seconds.
um, yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't consider myself an elitist when it comes to Star Wars either. It's just I'll get a little bit more into it as far as when an argument happens or something like that about Star Wars, because I think Star Wars is much better than Star Trek. So if somebody else say, "Oh no, it does, no, it's not. Star Trek
Hmm.
is better," then I'll kind of get into it then. But I still don't consider myself a elitist when it comes to that. I just kind of go with the flow, and let them be the all-knowing,
Hmm.
and I just kind of laugh at it.
Okay, so you don't necessarily feel like it's not that deep for you to kind of really argue about and say that you're right. You kind of let them sit in their ignorance. Would you say?
Yeah, and it gets to a point in arguments where nobody's gonna win, because I'm right and the other person says they're right. In my head, I'll just call them stupid,
Okay.
or
Okay.
I'll hit them with the MythBusters, and I reject your reality and substitute it with my own.
Okay. All right. We're not gonna leave GQ last. We're gonna let him go now. GQ, jump in there. Um, and let's flip this. Let's approach it from the standpoint of what makes, because maybe you can articulate this a little bit better than the other two were able to. What goes into the mindset of an elitist, and why is this so deep? Is it just the fact that they have to be right all the time? Three
Well, it's
minutes.
not even so much. It's not even really so much about being right all the time. I mean, you just already are right. You already have taken the time to invest the time, the energy, and the effort into learning about whatever it is that you enjoy.
Hmm.
And you make sure that you know everything there is to know about that. So anybody that comes in, unless they're asking questions and are willing to, open themselves up to your vast, like infinite annals of knowledge, then I mean, otherwise, they're just they've already shown themselves to be, as the Kahuna said, a peon. Now, the one thing I will disagree with him on is not emotion. At least for me, it's never emotion. It's always just about I like having the most stuff. Years ago, when I was a little smaller GQ, I had a Garfield poster that had it had the slogan that basically just said, "He who dies with the most stuff wins." And it was this. He had him with a Lamborghini in the background, a huge house, a bunch of money and everything. So to me, I took that to heart, and it's just like, if I'm going to collect Star Wars, if I'm going to collect Marvel, if I'm going to collect DC, if I'm going to collect movies, and I'm going to, I'm going to share. I'm going to do something I normally wouldn't do. I'm going to give the audience a tour of
Yeah, right.
and show people why I think the way I am and do what I do. I built the collection because the collection is a representation of everything that I enjoy in my life. So,
And there's
those
nothing
that
wrong
like
with
to say,
that. I
"Oh
mean,
well,"
yeah, there's
oh,
nothing
of
wrong with
course
that.
not. Of course not, because I'm doing it. That's why there's nothing wrong with it. But when it comes down to when people say, "Oh, well, look at all that money you're spending," you know what? I have the money to spend. Money
Right.
is a disposable thing, so
Right.
I will spend it on the things that I enjoy. These are the things that I enjoy. I don't really care too much for people. Don't really have much need for them, other than my circle of friends and the people that I hold close to my dark heart. But I really don't see any real need to worry about, oh, well, what about the children? Well, guess what? I'm sure a lot of these companies that purchase these different items from probably have charities, and they probably give to children. So in some forms of fashion, I'm being helpful to the kids and the poor and destitute in society. But to me, this stuff is more important because this is the stuff that I like. It's the same as anybody that goes out and binges and drinks alcohol every Friday, or goes to the club and dances, or those people that always have to figure they got to smoke or they got to go see sporting events or whatever. I just enjoy stuff that I enjoy. So if other people can't get with that, well, stay on that side of the street. I'm on this side of the street. It's better on my side anyway. So I mean, that's just how I look at things. It's not really in a quote unquote elitist thing. It's just I feel that because of what I like to do, because of my knowledge of the things that I like to do, it makes me better than other people. And if you just basically look at it mathematically, if you got a Star Wars fan and somebody that doesn't know anything about Star Wars, to a Star Wars fan, you're already better because that person doesn't know anything about what you already know.
Right. Well, okay, that's that's a good
Can I
perspective.
slide in
Yes,
here real
yes,
quick?
please do.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I agree with GQ on that too, and that's one of the things I do hate is when people they find out you collect a certain thing, and their immediate response is, "Oh, that's stupid," or "That's a waste of money." It's not a waste of money. It's something that I enjoy. So if it's something I enjoy, then it's not a waste of money. It might be a waste of money to you. And it's like, I have certain a lot of my friends, they're like club goers. They drink a lot, bragging about how much they bought the bar and all that. See, in my opinion, that's stupid. Because you spend like, if I go spend $100 or something on a figure, I'm gonna always have that figure. You spend $100 on drinks, you pissing that out in about 2 hours, and you have nothing to show for it. I'm gonna always have this figure.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Not only that, a lot of the figures that you and I collect, they rise in value.
exactly.
You can't get that alcohol back.
You can't get the alcohol
That's
back. The
very
soda's
true.
gonna
And
get it.
I
That's
don't think you'd want it back if you could.
Nope.
okay. Well. Oh, hey. Alvin Wallace is an anime and manga junkie. We're definitely glad to have you. I am an anime/manga junkie as well. So Daidakuji, I want to finish it off with you, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit of a deeper discussion/crosstalk about where the animosity between the two levels of fandom originates. So Daidakuji, kind of tell me a little bit about how you feel about what do you consider yourself? You consider yourself more casual? You consider yourself more elite? And what's your feelings on the two levels of fandom?
I don't think of myself as either one of them because elitists do have certain mindsets and casuals have certain mindsets. I am who I am. There's no category for the great Daidakuji. I am me. I do what I like, and I really don't care what anybody says. I've always been an outsider, and that's fine with me. And if I find people that are in the same world, in the same circle as I, then I'll hang with them. We're cool. We'll have that. And if we're not, then, you do your life and I'll do my life. But I don't have an elitist attitude about what I do because I like video games. If you don't like video games, by all means, do what you like. Do I think it's stupid? Maybe deep down inside of me, I might think that, yeah, what you're doing is not me. Yeah, it could be stupid because you are wasting money. Like GQ said, everything that I bought, I still own. And if I chose to sell it, I can get something back for it. I did, not too long ago, have a cup of sake. And you know what? I pissed it out. Because that's what happens when you drink.
Mm-hmm.
So when I play a video game, to me, it's an experience. It's something that it's a interactive experience. Every single video game is different, and I'm not gonna tell somebody, look, you should do this stuff because I do it, because that's just not how I think. I really don't. I don't care what people do with their lives because they're not me, and they're never gonna be me. And screw it. But where the disconnect, I think, comes in for a lot of people who are, is because it's us versus them for a lot of things, and you can find that in every single aspect of human life, us versus them. Nobody can be like, you know what, I like this, you can like that. By all means, let's breathe the same air. Let's go to the mall together. Let's watch some movies. They think like, well, you're a piece of shit because you don't like such and such, and you're a piece of crap because you do like such and such. And I think that's where the idea of elitists come in. Like, a long time ago, I was and I still do like Sega, but I used to be, everybody else sucks. Sega's the best. And Dreamcast. That was in the early 2000s. Most of my really close friends remember this shit. I'm probably the only person that argued that the Dreamcast was better than the PlayStation 2 before the PlayStation 2 came out. Now, mind you, PlayStation 2 had some fabulous games, and it will be remembered as being a system that sold a lot of money. I mean, sold a lot of systems and got a lot of money, but it won't ever be the Dreamcast. Regardless of that, I will not argue at that point anymore because I don't care. I have a Dreamcast, I have a PlayStation 2, I play both of those games. You think the PlayStation 2 is better than the Dreamcast? Then you missed out. And you're stupid because you missed out. If you like video games, I mean, I guess that's how I am. If you're a video gamer, then why do you care which system is better? Buy them all. Play them all. Have fun. Let's play the games together. But if you say, oh, the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 is better than such and such and such, that to me is like, I think that's dumb because you have the opportunity to play everything and have fun with everything. Who gives a shit which one sold more copies, or who gives a shit that has this game or does more powerful? I don't care. And as a gamer, and if you want to call that being elite, as a gamer, owning all the systems is better than fighting over which one is the best one.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I knew you had it
Okay.
in you. I knew you
Okay.
had it in you. The view is great from up here, isn't it?
I have to interject. Dido, I loved what you said, man. And you kind of spoke very eloquently, and you hit all the right points. But real quick, I'm gonna bring it back to the chat real quick. Lena, you got yourself a fan over there on Twitch. I hope you're paying attention. Nadie94 is the newest viewer. Welcome to the show. Want to officially welcome you. And he kind of taking a shine to you, old girl. He's kind of feeling you. So I told him, he was like, hey, can I have the girl? And I was like, we're not really into human trafficking, so I can't do that. But I told him that I did kind of tell him that if he wanted to submit some game, I'd run it back for him. And he's kind of struggling there. He kind of struggling a little bit. You want to give him a little encouragement, or you kind of want to discourage him and shoot him down real quick?
Well, what is he bringing to the table? Like, can I talk to him? Like, what's going on with?
You talking to him now? You talking to him right now? I mean, he's out there in the chat. So.
Well, how about he gives us his perspective? Is he an elitist or is he a more casual person?
Okay. In a few seconds, I'm sure he'll come back with something if he hasn't choked out and left. And I certainly hope that's not the case. He was asking me, to drop a beat for him, and I said, kind of can't do that. I'm a little too busy talking and running the chat, so I kind of can't do that. But I told him, he'd have his quick little 5 minutes, but we'll see if he's coming through.
Over to Twitch.
Okay,
I'm
bet.
on Twitch.
All right, bet. Hop over to Twitch. Interact with my man, so we can kind of keep this thing going. And we'll be keeping an eye on you in the chat. Anything interesting pops up, we'll certainly let everybody else know. Now, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about where. Let's talk a little bit about where this seemingly animosity kind of comes from between. And A Tainted Dream is Lena and AD94, so you guys kind of spit and kind of work it out, and we'll kind of keep an eye on the sidelines here. But where does this level of I don't even want to say it's dislike. It's in some cases it's like downright hate that generates between uh, from the elitists towards the casuals. Like, say, for a recent example, a lot of people are hating on people that love Street Fighter Five because they're saying, oh well, you're a damn casual because you like Street Fighter Five and it's really easy to pick up and it's really easy to play. Um, and you right, calling them noobs and all this other kind of stuff because it's not technical like Third Strike or even it's not as I guess broken in some ways as Street Fighter 4 was. So where does this originate from? Is it just because you guys have attained a level of knowledge that they haven't yet, and you kind of look down on those that haven't tread the same path as you guys have? So not everybody at once. I'll designate Dido. Why don't you go first because you kind of went off at the end there. So why don't you kind of lead us off with that? Where does this hate come from, man?
I think really seriously, it just comes from I want to be right and everybody else is wrong. Because, like, again, going back to the whole thing that everybody on this planet has that opinion. I'm right about what I believe in, what my opinions are, what I see, what my experiences are, and you are not unless you agree with said things. Every aspect of life. It could be hot dogs. It could be friggin' cars. It can be we got the video game things here. It's human nature. It's us versus it's me versus them. Unless you are a friend, you're an enemy. And it really hits home because of people who like video games. They have a lot of choices. I mean, back in the 90s, not so much in the 80s. You just had Nintendo. But back when Sega put themselves into the game against Nintendo, people who grew up with Nintendo, a lot of them were just like, Nintendo's the best, because that's what they attach themselves to. People attach themselves to objects. People attach themselves to beliefs and feelings and all that stuff. And when they do, nothing you tell them is going to sway unless they feel like changing.
All right, hold up. Hold up, GQ. Any rebuttals, or you want to agree with that?
No, I completely agree, and that's part of the fun of it. I mean, it's just like there comes a time in life, and I'm loving what you're doing over there, Chuck Woolery, with your love connection stuff. There comes a time in life when sometimes you just have to look at it as like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy what I enjoy. I'm going to do what I like to do. As long as I haven't, had any real benefit to anybody else's life, I feel that I'm doing well. As long as I'm bringing other people down, then hey, more fun for me. But there comes a time when you have to look at it as, like, for example, the Street Fighter thing. Street Fighter Third Strike, bar none, is probably the best Street Fighter that has ever been made.
Agreed.
Yes, that makes me an elitist to say that, but I don't care. I enjoy Street Fighter 5 because it still gives me the chance to body other people. Mike Bison is coming to you this coming Saturday. But I mean, whatever. I mean, it's like, what do they expect people to do? To, like, get up there and go bang on Capcom's door because they've left out different modes? We're gonna make Street Fighter great again, like Donald Trump or something. I mean, it's not gonna happen. So you have to just understand that, like, look, there's going to be times when the little peons and the little casuals and all of them get together and they want to have their uprising and say something, and you stand there at the top of the gate and you sick the hounds on them. So I mean, I get it. I can understand why people would really want to have that opportunity to get in there, bang on the door, and be let in to the elite circle and the inner sanctum. But we're here and you're over there, so stay over there, and we're good right here. But a lot of what Dadakuji says is pretty spot on. Though,
okay.
Because again, that's an elitist attitude in and of itself. That hey,
in a way,
you
yes,
do me and you do you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Kahuna.
Thank you for joining the dark side, bro.
Yeah. Kahuna, jump in there. So, do you think along the same lines as GQ that there should be no intermingling between elitists and casuals? I mean, does it necessarily have to be And AD94, I see you over there. You kind of haven't really come with anything, but it definitely ain't no trap if you hit that follow, bro. We gonna drop you with some knowledge, and we'll enlighten you. Might even take you to the dark side with Mr. GQ over here. But whatever. We hope that you will eventually follow us. We're having a good time interacting with you. But Kahuna, I need you to jump in. Give me your feelings about intermingling between casual and elitist. I mean, there's absolutely no way they can't get along.
No, I don't disagree with that. Just because, hey, I get along with you guys. See, to me, I used to always think that I had a pretty good knowledge of stuff. That was until I joined this group. When I joined this group, I realized I don't know shit. And so in my mind, I'm
seeing AD94. He's learned stuff from us. You could learn it too. Yeah.
You guys are, to me, you guys are the elitists as far as in the group compared to me, because like I said, I'm casual. I've been in and out of things, so comics, video games, everything. So that
midstream cutoff. That's terrible.
There he is. No,
Okay.
He's back.
Okay. Finish your statement. You got cut off there for a second. So start over a little bit.
Oh, and I was saying, when it comes to me, I think myself as casuals, and you guys are the extremists, elitists, because you guys talk about video games, you guys talk about other stuff. I know nothing about that stuff at all. So me, I'm just in the background. You guys are pretty much speaking Greek. I don't understand a word that you guys are saying, but but we get along fine. I mean, granted, some of us are from we knew each other since school. But I still get along with you guys. We don't fight or nothing like that. So there could be some intermingling. And me, I don't really fight about this stuff. It's just like, okay, you know more than me. That's it.
And isn't that necessarily the case, Lena? Let me bring you in. I know you're kind of trying to make a little bit of a I won't call it quite a love connection, but maybe making new friends, which is great. But as far as the intermingling between elitists and casuals, do you feel? I mean, because you said yourself that you kind of get elitist a little bit about Mass Effect. Wouldn't it be better to be a little bit more accommodating to those that know lesser than you, or do you always have to assert your kind of dominance, I guess, over people?
No, usually I do start off as with the teacher hat on, and just giving knowledge. If they know something that I might not have known, then the give and take. I always like the give and take between people, but I think when I do get on my high horse or get a little snotty or anything, it's because you tell them something and then they're just like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. But then you have to slap them over the head with that high knowledge and let them know, okay, I really do know, and we're kind of learning here. Don't mess up the flow, kind of thing. So if that makes sense.
You don't have to send her a membership card. She's part of the crew, part of the elitist power. Like I'm gonna say this, like Lex Luthor said to Brainiac once: if you have all the knowledge, and you know that there is to know, that makes you a god. Now, you guys know I love to joke around and say that a lot, but I mean, really, when it comes down to it, if you know everything about that you need to know about the movies you love, everything about the comic books that you read, everything about the video games that you play, everything about the collectibles that you own, that makes you kind of a guru in a lot of people's eyes. And like Big Kahuna said, a lot of people, if you come to somebody that can really just jump in a conversation about anything in pop culture, that's amazing to a lot of people. And I'm sorry, if that makes me an elitist, then I'm an elitist, because I'm able to dabble in any conversation. I can jump in and jump out. I don't like a lot of the new anime, but hey, that's me. I don't like a lot of new anime because I like the bloodthirsty good stuff of the 80s and 90s.
And as do I. I mean, some of that stuff, that made me a fan of anime is, I miss it. I do miss it a lot.
You just have to find the bloodthirsty anime of the 2000s and 2010s.
Okay.
I'm doing everything else.
All right. Well, let me bring up something from the chat. I've been paying a little, attention to Nady94. Hopefully he will see the light. Zach Games for real. says he wants to join us. But Zach, you're already part of the crew because you're watching the show. So you say you want to learn more knowledge and become my Padawan learner. You're already in. So you can't get further than you are.
Wait. Nadine 94?
Nadine 94 is this
like NADY, like the
no NAY capital D 94.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like the joystick company Natty. I'm like, yeah, but 94, so that would make you like 22, maybe, possibly at the most.
Cubix Rebel just joined. How you doing, Cubix? We hope that you join us as well, or you follow us as well. He says, I hear you. The last anime I saw and stuff I liked was Robotech / Macross. That's a damn long time, man. That's a long time.
Hey,
but
again, learn everything you need to know about Robotech. You too can be an elitist.
Okay.
Stickers.
Okay. Well, Alvin J. Wallace kind of brought up something, and let's talk a little bit about that. I know we're kind of over time, but we're having a good discussion. Let's keep it going. Animosity exists between the two groups because with casuals there isn't that enough caring to be diehard fans, and that kind of pisses them off a little bit. GQ, do you agree with that stance?
I can understand that. I can see that. Honestly, like I said, for me, there's no emotion to it. I just like it because I like knowing a whole bunch about a whole bunch. So when I see a casual, like as you like to call them, or somebody that they like Star Wars, but they don't know that Luke and Leia are brother and sister. It's like, if you don't know basic stuff, and you don't have like the ability to just remember basic stuff, then you really do kind of need to stay outside the gate. Because I'm not going to lay down with that dog and get up and fleet. There are certain things that are just basic, like Superman is from Krypton. Superman can get hurt by kryptonite. If you can't know that, we can't talk. I mean, seriously, because that's just like, you don't even have to be a fan of Superman to know those two things. So, I mean, it's just certain things that, like, I get it, and I can see where animosity can build up because casuals are like, oh, well, it's not that serious. We're like, oh, yes, the hell it is. And you say it again, you might get cut.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. See, like I said before, I'm the casualist, but when it comes to basic shit like that, like he said, you don't know that Luke and Leia are brother and sister. That's when my casualist goes into, are you a fucking idiot?
So okay.
So yeah, I have my moments.
Okay. So then let's flip it like this. Is it just an aversion to people that want to claim that they are something when they really aren't? It's just like you kind of hate, fakeness. I guess you want to say. It's just hate people that are fake and want to front like that they're really down when they really aren't.
Yeah, it's the poser thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the posers. If you don't know shit, then you don't know it.
All right, Kilowog. We're gonna rename you Kilowog instead of the Kahuna.
Okay.
Rename you Kilowog with that poser.
Yeah, poozer. Yeah, poozer. I can see that. I don't consider myself an elitist necessarily, but I know I have the tendency to be that way, especially when it comes to certain things that, like GQ has said earlier before, that you invested a lot of time and energy to learn about, to invest in, and you got someone over there that's just like, spouting off complete nonsense and acting like it's actually the complete truth. It just really makes your blood boil, and you're like, no, you're wrong. And then they want to argue back and forth, say, no, my perspective is right. Well, no, actually, you really take it from me, who knows a lot more than you. You're wrong. You're completely wrong.
But there's real quick. There's nothing like that moment when you prove somebody wrong.
And they shut up.
Place.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite orgasmic, but damn it,
it's damn close. It's damn close.
It's intoxicating, and it's like that power that you feel when like you completely just shut somebody down is like it's an aphrodisiac, and like you just want to keep doing it. That's how like the door for the elitism opens up. So if you guys would just give in to the hatred that you have inside you, and just let the hate flow through you. Well, see, look, you too can be an elitist.
We've been there. We've all been there. And ladies and gentlemen, this man to my right starts threads on purpose actually firebombing people just to start crap on the internet, and
No, but
watches the
see that
fallout, but he loves watching the
see,
fallout.
but that sounds like troll behavior. I'm
It's
trying
not
to
necessarily
enlighten
trolling.
and bring knowledge to the masses.
Well, see, it's
Now, I
not
have my moments of
right,
benevolence.
right. But see, it's not necessarily trolling when you're kind of correcting people, but it's like you kind of let a snowball roll. You know how it is where a snowball rolls downhill. GQ would be that one dude that just be like, nope, I'm not gonna let the snowball go any further. I'm going to redirect it and actually tell you what the right thing. And it like completely flips people around. They're like, wait a minute, what's this guy talking about? Because he comes with a completely different perspective. But on the surface, it kind of looks like this dude is completely trolling me. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. But then when you really think about it and think a little bit deeper, his perspective actually has some merit behind it, and that's kind of what he's talking about. It's like you know when you can take a whole conversation and completely turn it to something else. It's like I don't even know how to describe that. I don't even know how to describe that
Like that.
specifically because it's like okay, it's like having racists that don't acknowledge that they're racist, but then when you point out to them that their thought processes and their ways of thinking are completely racist, and then they get mad at you for pointing out that they're racist because they don't want to accept it. I mean, hey, what you gonna do?
It's like Doc Ock said, it's having the power of the sun in the
In
palm,
palm
of
of my hand.
So, I mean,
Yes.
it is what it is, and I'm gonna throw this trivia out there for anybody that can get it, and I'll find some interesting thing to give you if you can get it. But where does this quote come from? And this is one of my favorite quotes. My strength comes from hate and no
Quiz
human
time.
substitutes. So whoever can get that in the chat, I would love to hear it because nobody's got it yet. And if anybody gets it, I will give you a special shout out or some type of interesting, cool thing. But I'll leave it at that because my elitism is just great. As
But
I
yeah,
sit here, turn to the side and sip my.
what you
I got
guys
something
said
to bring
about
up in the chat. And Cubics Ruble brought it up, and it's actually pretty poignant. You got to be open minded to explore things. Knowledge is power. Now, do you find that casuals in general, um, casuals in general, is just that they just don't want to think. They're just mindless and they just want to kind of enjoy stuff and not really get too deep into anything and invest that kind of time? Because it's like I'm kind of like you in that vein. If I'm going to invest my time into it, I'm not going to go into it and be completely mindless and shut my brain off. You know, if I'm going to be invested to it and actually, give a crap about it, I'm going to think about it kind of deep. And that's where a lot of conspiracy theories and, speculations on favorite movies and comic books and stuff like that, that's where all that comes from. And some of that is, pretty fun. But does that make me an elitist? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. If that makes me an elitist, just because I enjoy thinking about this stuff all the time. I mean, hell, I'm a junkie. I'm a junkie of all things culture. I mean, that's why I'm in this. That's why we started this group, because that's the way we are. So, and we're not the only ones that think that way. I mean, yeah, we might not be all into the same stuff, but we have a common ground that we can kind of all come together. Um, so go ahead, Lena. You were gonna say something.
Well, yeah, I think you're dead on, and I think that goes back to the beginning of the conversation, and that is what you just described is what a fan is. Now, I think there's different levels, though. I think sometimes casual fans, they might think just as much and go just go just as deep into it, but the elitists, I think, get to that level. Well, they get to a godlike level, like you said. It just comes to that point where I've learned everything there is to know about this, and I can now bring on subjects to give them my knowledge, that kind of thing. I think it's just different levels to the fandom, and casuals might not dabble in it as much. They might think about it, but just not as much. But I don't think that makes you elitist. I just think that is the epitome of being a fan.
Okay, and Autumn, who had to join the chat because her connection was kind of slow. She needs to get a little Comcast in her life. But she says something, about GQ. Says GQ is just saying everything that every elitist thinks. Now, because I've said some of those same things in this very discussion, you can make the argument that everybody's elitist about something. Everybody is elitist about something. So, is it necessarily just a mindset or not? I mean, because everybody's a casual. Not, I won't even say that. Everybody isn't a casual at the beginning. I think some people get into something and they want to learn everything they can learn about it. So again, I ask the question to all of you: is there, a little bit of elitist in everybody over certain
Everybody's an
things?
elitist. Everybody, but not everybody might show that they're an elitist. Some people, like you say, revel in being able to say, I'm better than you, I know more than you, and I will show you and put it in your face. Kind of like when a dog takes a dump on your floor, you push their nose in their shit. Some people like to do that. If they're going to come off saying that they know some things and they don't know anything about it, it's our place to say, hey, you don't know shit, I know more than you. Some people are like that in every aspect, not just video games. Not just movies, not just anime. Some people are like that with cars, or some people are like that with, ketchup packets. I don't know, but that's everything. That's everybody. It's literally everybody. If you know something more than somebody else, most people won't hesitate to try to put it in your face that I know it and you don't.
I know all the quotes from the Taco Bell sauce packets.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Well,
okay.
I can recite Transformers the movie if I really felt like it.
Well, see,
So
a lot of us can do that, and in a way, does that make us, elitist because we get that, we go that deep and we love it and we watch something so much that we can recite it, on memory? You know, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it just
I
makes
just
us,
say
big fans.
I just say you have a good memory.
I
Okay,
do
yeah,
and more. But I mean, again, like I said, it's really all in how you allow yourself to be perceived and how you perceive yourself.
hmm,
Like Adakuji said, he doesn't put himself in either group. He puts himself on his own, which in and of itself is an
is an
elitist
elitist
stance.
attitude. Yes.
Elitists stand alone, even though sometimes they allow themselves to be grouped together as part of a higher community, a higher collective, like the Q Continuum. So there's all sorts of different ways you can look at it,
Hmm.
but at the end, like he said, everybody's got to know some elitist in them. But they might not be about. It might not be about some of the same topics that we're talking about pop culture wise. Like you said, it could be cars, it could be houses, it could be a whole bunch of different things. But everybody has it in them. There's dark
Very true.
side in everyone.
That's very
The
true.
dark.
So I will close with this, because we're about 15 minutes over. It's been a great discussion, and I hope everybody's really enjoyed it. A lot of people in the chat have actually chimed in and given some good feedback. So we appreciate that, you guys. And I will close with this. Cubics Rubble brought up something in in the chat just now. He said, "I think you're an elitist in your own personal interest," which is absolutely true. Or you have knowledge of something, which is also absolutely true. And he relates it thusly: everybody is like, it's like the new guy that starts at work, and everybody looks at them and they're just considers them a noob because they don't know nothing, or they're not, or they're new to the culture of the job, so on and so forth. Yes, everybody has it in them to be an elitist, but I forget who it was. Forgive me, in the chat, who actually said that elitists can choose to be humble or not about the way they present themselves. That is also very true, and that's also very poignant. There doesn't have to be this level of animosity between casuals and elitists. Some people just like being assholes just on general principle. Other people just like to be right all the time, right, GQ?
No, it's not even about being right all the time. It's just being right. And like I said, I am better at everything.
And thank you for summing
Like
that up
Khan
for me.
said.
Thank you for summing that up for me very perfectly. I don't think I could have said it better myself. So, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's 11:15, and some of you, like Lena, have Agents of Shield to catch up on. So we will let you guys go. Tomorrow we got a really special show for you guys. Tomorrow, we hope that you join us because we are going to have with us the owner of Green Brain Comics. He is he's a very popular shop located here in the Detroit area where we all reside, where most of us reside. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Lena. Where most of us reside, and we are very enthused to have him on. He's going to join us. We're going to talk about comics tomorrow because tomorrow's New Comics Day. We're going to get his perspective on the industry, how it's changed, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and we'll talk about maybe some other stuff that's been happening as far as like, what's he thinking about, the direction of DC films versus Marvel films, so on and so forth. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. So we just hope that you guys join us tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on this site. If you haven't already, bookmark it. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube or on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter so we can give you guys show updates and give you guys the rundown. That's going to be a regular thing. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us everywhere. Just immerse yourself in Culture Junkie Nation because nobody's going to treat you better than we will. So for the panel, we've got Autumn, who is now in the chat. Thank you. We've got GQ. We got the Great Datakuji. We got Lena over there in Arizona. And we got the Big Kahuna. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Hasta mañana.
May the force be with you.
Don't follow me too close because I bite unless you're cute.
Bye-bye, everybody.